Hello, and welcome to the SafeBreach Cyber Resilience Podcast, the podcast that deciphers the latest threats in the digital world. I'm your host, Tova Dvorin, and today we're diving deep into a rapidly evolving danger, Interlock Ransomware. This isn't just another ransomware variant, it's backed by a cunning and aggressive threat group that's been making headlines. I'm joined today by Senior Sales Engineer Adrian Culley, who's going to walk us through this latest CISA advisory. How are you, Adrian?
I'm very well. How are you, Tova?
I'm great. So tell us a little bit about this.
So let's unlock the Interlock ransomware threat. We've just had an advisory from the FBI and CISA. It's advisory AA25203A. For any of you, it's red hot. Any of you have not seen it. It's relating to the Interlock ransomware group. This was first observed in late September 2024. Interlock quickly distinguished itself by targeting a broad range of organizations across North America and Europe. From businesses to critical infrastructure, healthcare, very high profile Kettering Health in Ohio, in the USA, West Lothian Council in Scotland, which is the area west of Edinburgh and south of the Forth Road Bridge. All their schools were hit in April this year. And these people are very aggressive. They don't play nice. They employ a double extortion model. That means they don't just encrypt your data and demand a ransom, they also steal sensitive information before encryption, threatening to leak it publicly if you don't pay up. It's a powerful 1-2 punch designed to maximize pressure on their victims.
So I suspect that you've just answered the question I'm about to ask, but what makes Interlock particularly nasty, besides for the double extortion model, which in itself is horrendous?
W- Well, it's a rapidly evolving group showing very high skill, and for one, they developed encryptors for both Windows and Linux operating systems. This allows them to hit a wider range of targets, including critical FreeBSD servers. They've also shown a very opportunistic nature, going after vulnerable targets regardless of sector, though we've seen a concerning rise in attacks against healthcare and public health organizations recently. And I have to add, very concerningly, in the US, the National Defense Corporation and its subsidiaries, including AMTEC, who make ammunition and explosives for military and law enforcement, were hit and had data exfiltrated earlier this year.
Wow. So let's talk about the shadowy figures behind Interlock. I understand this is a financially motivated cybercriminal group. Of course, which cybercriminal group isn't at least partially financially motivated, but I think even more so than ever. And they're operating under this ransomware as a service model. Could you tell us a little about that?
Correct. They're an affiliate model. It exists on what's referred to as the dark web. If anybody's not familiar with that, the dark web isn't a different internet. It's a name that's used by researchers and analysts and journalists to describe elements of the internet that are behind some sort of entry system, most commonly the Tor onion router system. So they can't be indexed by search engines. That's what we mean by dark web. It's not actually a specific place, even though it sounds that way. They're not that prolific, but given mind they only started September 24, some of the big name ransomware as a service operators like Clop and Akira. But as I mentioned earlier, they've shown rapid evolution in techniques, an outsized impact on its victims. They have a closed, non-public affiliate model. There's some confusion out there from some people in the press that they're not a ransomware as a service model. They absolutely are, and it's a very professional, tightly controlled operation.
So I understand that Interlock uses a variety of methods to gain initial access and that those methods are increasingly sophisticated, which is unique here.
Yes, it's interesting. For years and years, in fact, most of us were probably told as children, don't accept sweeties from strangers. Let's just talk about what they're doing, and we're going to give a variation on that advice for everybody. So we've seen them use drive-by downloads from compromised legitimate websites, where simply visiting the site can trigger a malware download. They've also been seen employing a clever social engineering technique called ClickFix. This involves tricking unsuspected users into executing a malicious payload by clicking a fake captcha or a deceptive error message that prompts them to copy and paste malicious commands. So just like we tell children don't accept sweeties from strangers, everybody, please don't accept and absolutely do not execute computer code from strangers. If anybody claiming to be a help desk or anything similar in a session on a Windows machine asks you to press Windows R to open up a run box, or on a Mac OS machine asks you to press Command Space and open Terminal and copy and paste code, do not do it. Danger, Will Robinson. Once inside, they leverage compromised credentials and remote desktop protocol. They'll move laterally very quickly, aiming for domain administrator accounts to gain widespread access and persistence. They're also known to use tools such as AnyDesk and PuTTY for remote connectivity and lateral movement, and they deploy custom malware like the NodeSnake remote access Trojan and also the Swiss Army CT tool System BC. Now, you'll all be aware from other discussions we've had together, attribution is very, very difficult and not for the faint-hearted and very easy to get wrong. But this other tool they use, System BC, has Russian-written installation instructions. So there is some indication there's some Russian involvement here.
Yeah, and that's probably one of the many reasons why the FBI and CISA agencies have reported this vulnerability and this ransomware attack.
No, the skill level is very high. They've been observed using known credential theft utilities such as Mimikatz. They're aggressive in disabling recovery capabilities by deleting shadow copies, halting backup agents, and tampering with system restore mechanisms. They will also bypass defense mechanisms, an old hobby horse of ours. This modular and evasive framework allows for rapid compromise and long-term access within victim networks.
Interesting. I mean, I could go off on a long tangent about this and how people should use attack path validation and propagate, but that's for another time. What other activities have we seen from Interlock so far?
So we've seen reports of attacks on organisations like Napier Grove Vision Care, where patient data, including names, addresses, health insurance information, and in some cases even social security numbers, were stolen and then leaked on Intellect's dark website. In Scotland, the vetting information for people who work as volunteers for the school or staff, passports, driving licence, personal details were stolen and pasted. Major healthcare providers like Kettering Health, we mentioned earlier in Ohio, DaVita Incorporated, have also been hit, leading to disruptions in patient care and internal systems. This is affecting real people's lives and healthcare.
Okay, so what can organizations do today to protect themselves against Interlock ransomware?
So the good news is that many of the mitigation strategies are foundational cybersecurity best practices. The advisory from the FBI recommends prevent initial access, mitigate known vulnerabilities, segment networks to restrict lateral movement, and implement credential and access management and multi-factor authentication. Patch management, all the usual suspects, strong authentication, user training and awareness, implement least privilege, and most importantly, continuous monitoring and threat hunting. Actively monitor your network for anomalous behavior and conduct proactive threat hunting to identify early indicators of compromise. We now have a detailed Interlock simulation scenario. Please run this ASAP, remediate your gaps, and rerun the scenario. Do not fall victim to this nasty attack.
Thank you, Adrian. This is a good reminder of how cybersecurity right now is a bit of a game of whack-a-mole. They can come at you from any direction. So don't forget to run your simulations, check your BAS platforms for new updates, and generally speaking, don't do anything silly like give someone access to your code.
We'll be talking to you more about ransomware and the development in a coming up episode.
That's right. Thank you today, Adrian, for hopping on. That's all for this episode of the SafeBreach Resilience Podcast. Stay safe with SafeBreach. The Cyber Resilience Brief is a SafeBreach podcast. It's produced by Tova, Dvorin and executive produced by Adrian, Culley. Sound design provided by Adobe Podcasts. Distribution provided by Podbean and extra support and love from the SafeBreach team. For more information on how adversarial exposure validation through SafeBreach can protect you and your business, no matter where you reside or what industry you're in, please visit us at www.safebreach.com.